Hello again. Welcome to the alternate corner. My name is Dylan. As some of you will know by now, I'm doing a lot more shorter videos, just trying to concentrate on certain topics. Because I feel if I do it live, it just gets lost. But I want to get things down. About my beliefs without any distractions. And I'll be doing more live streams because everyone knows I love the chat and I love chatting with you guys. But if you are new, just look at this. This is not a live stream. So if you're watching this, please like it, please subscribe, and please leave a comment. You don't have to agree with me. You can agree to disagree on whatever topic I speak about, but do respectfully. Otherwise, I'll just won't bother responding to you. But anyway, this video, I wanted to speak about my own stance about certain things, about what I believe in, and in a way, why I've sort of been embraced and also embrace the Boston community. So I'm a big believer, as you can see. Saw my background. Hang on, can I put my background? Hang on, I'll show you my background again. Look at the words: innocent unless proven guilty. That's what this channel's about. It's what I stand by. It's what we believe in. It's what majority of my viewers believe in, and it's because that's why you know people say they believe in that concept, but most don't. It's hard. It's hard to explain, right? If you say to somebody, um, "Do you believe in the system of innocent unless proven guilty?" Everyone says, "Oh, absolutely, absolutely, we do." My response to that is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I live it. I experience it. You know, you can see from the Twitter, the hate and the attacks that I get constantly. Um, People believe that I think that every defendant is is innocent going to trial. Um, do I believe that? Yes. I believe that they deserve the presumption of being innocent unless proven guilty. I believe that wholeheartedly. Now, there's some defendants going stand in trial that within about 10 minutes of trial beginning, after opening statements, you've got them straight away. I mean, you've got them pegged as guilty because you're giving the evidence like, well, absolutely slam dunk guilty. But I still believe that they deserve the presumption of innocence. You gotta forgive me because I don't make notes, so I'm going off the top of my head. So sometimes I like to speak from my heart. I don't like to just um, you know, make notes and things like that. I know that means I'm not very professional and stuff, but that also means I'm not pre-prepared too much. I sort of know in my head what I want to speak about. Already this video is not what I thought it was going to be, when I start recording it. But hey, um, so yeah, I believe in the presumption of innocence, and unless proven guilty. I don't think you could pick and choose. I generally don't think you could pick and choose that. Now, I love the free Karen Read movement. And I met some great people. But amongst those people, I mean, obviously they're watching other trials, or sorry, they're following other cases, not watching trials, but following other cases. And it's interesting to me how some of them are then in the crowd of like for Brian Koberger's guilty, and that's their stance. Now, I'm not gonna labor that point, and people can believe whatever they want, but I just find it intriguing how people can pick and choose when someone's innocent or not. And the reason I say that is because one of the things that with Karen Read is we've not seen all the evidence. So for people to say she's guilty, I don't agree with that. I think you need to see all the evidence. Same with Brian Kohlberger as an example now. I believe he deserves the opportunity to go on trial under the presumption of he's innocent unless proven guilty. Now, a lot of people said he's guilty because of the DNA found on the sheath button, the touch DNA. I can sort of understand why that's important, but I don't think that should be a reason to find him guilty. I don't. I think that's something that the defense need to really, really clear and be clear about. Also, that might be enough to make him guilty. I have no idea. I think there's a big difference between Karen and Brian in one aspect alone. I don't think that personally Karen should ever been arrested for murder, because a big part of what they were saying was about, like, she smashed into him, broken taillight all over him and stuff like that. But then we see video afterwards that hours afterwards, the taillight's intact. There's just a crack in there. It's intact. So how can that, that doesn't make sense. And if that was your logic to arrest her, or one big part why you arrested her, then she shouldn't have been arrested. Also, we know now that Trooper Proctor's been investigated, the lead investigator. Um, he's not been impartial. There's a lot of dodgy dealings in that case, which means that I do not believe that she should be going to trial. Now, do I think she's going to trial? Yes, I believe she will be going to trial, but I don't believe she should be. Brian, I believe he should be going to trial because I think there's evidence there with the touch DNA. Whether he did it or not, that's not for me to say right now. Um, but do I think that's enough to arrest him and put him in jail? Yes, I do. Because you got his DNA on a sheath button next to, the girls that were murdered. Itchy nose. So there's a big difference there. Do I believe that, um, you know, uh, Brian deserves a presumption of innocence unless proven guilty? Yes. So that's why it saddens me to see people say that, Karen's innocent, she shouldn't be going to trial, but Brian is guilty and he should rot in hell. Not that many people have said that, but I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that. I think if you believe that Karen's innocent, then he should believe that all defendants are innocent. I think there's one trial coming up. Oh, what's it called? Let me Google it. Um, Hang on, where's it called? Should have done this. Here we go. I got it here. This is what you do get for not preparing. Right, Chad Dowerman. He's charged with murdering his three boys, aged 7, 4, and 3. Um, he made a confession on the same day, but that's now been thrown out. That can't be used because the police didn't follow the right processes, so no one's ever going to hear that confession. Now, as hard as it is to swallow, he deserves to still go on trial as innocent unless proven guilty. Now, do I put much support behind him? No, zero. I mean, he's confessed, and I believe he will be found guilty, but I am willing to listen to his trial. The reason I want him to go in as innocent unless proven guilty and to get a fair trial is because if he is found guilty, which I presume he would, with everything that we do know, I should maybe say that, but he's basically confessed to it. Then, well, he has confessed to it. Then I want him to rot in hell. I want him to rot in hell. I don't want any issues at trial. I don't want any tainted jurors. I don't want any mistakes. I want everything to be done by the book. Because for me, there's nothing worse than if he goes on trial and some dodgy dealings happen and he doesn't get a fair trial and the jury presume he's guilty beforehand and stuff like that, then he'll get another trial. he'll be able to appeal and get another trial, possibly, on those grounds. So let's do everything legit. Let's make everything right. And if he is found guilty, then let him rot in hell. So that's just one example. They're quite rare examples, but I was watching a trial the other day from Georgia. The trial lasted 2 days, and within half an hour, I had the guy as guilty. Um, we literally watched it for half an hour. Half an hour in, I was like, "Well, this guy's guilty." I'd seen enough in that half an hour, and that surprises some people. But I mean, I saw a video of him literally pretty much doing what he was accused of doing. I was like, "Well, that's enough for me. I've seen it. Thank you. Yeah, he's guilty." There was nothing there. I was like, "Yeah, fine." So I trust the process. You have to trust the process. So just because you go into a trial believing that a defendant's innocent, doesn't mean that they are innocent or that they will end up being, found not guilty. I'm not built like that. I put everything on evidence. I pride myself on that. You know, I get a good example is AlexMurdaugh. I get, lambasted with people thinking, you're a Murdoch lover, you're, all this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, I think he's an absolute scumbag of a guy for what he did for the financial crimes. I just don't believe he had a fair trial, and it pisses me off because do I think he murdered his son and wife? Um, I think if he didn't do it, then he knows who did it, and he was involved in some way. I don't believe that he did it the way that the state or the Commonwealth told us that he did it. I don't think I can't because it makes no sense. The data does not fit. And I know people say the data fits it. It doesn't. It doesn't fit. He couldn't have done it, in my opinion, based on how they said he did it. There's no way. I mean, he would have had to be Superman to do it. But people don't want to listen to that. They just want to, he's guilty, fuck it, don't worry about it. No, he he is guilty. I believe he is probably guilty, but not in the way that they did it. There has to be a second person there, or he has to have paid somebody to do it. And that's my speculation, but my belief. I do not believe that he did it the way the state did it. There's a big difference. There's a big difference there. Um, and people can't get over that. Just because I would have said that he was not guilty does not mean that I do not believe that he didn't or wasn't involved in it. Big difference. They did not prove to me there's no way in the world that he could have done everything, cleaned up everything, got rid of Maggie's phone, showered, got it's impossible. I don't care who you are. You can speak about all the data you want. I'm telling you, the data alludes the fact that he did not do this on his own. But I still believe that he's involved some way, somehow. So, but that's another debate. Um, I just will always want to see a fair trial. I don't care who you are. I want to see a fair trial. I want to see objectively all the evidence. I mean, I'll speak in another stream about evidence and stuff like that because I cover trials every day and I see the bullshit that goes into trials. There's so much bullshit. You wouldn't believe the bullshit that goes into trials. Unless you cover trials every single day, then you're going to be shocked with what judges allow in and what they don't allow in. Um, I'm watching the Carragher trial now. We're on day 50, whatever, 8 or whatever. I believe the three defendants are accused of killing 4 people. So it's quadruple murder. They, in my opinion, they've not been placed there. There's no murder weapon. There's literally nothing attached to them to the the scene, except for there's a lot of, like, hearsay, the press have said stuff, there's no DNA there, there's literally nothing placed in there. The only thing is like a phone that the 3 of them used, which you have to watch it, but it's disheartening to see. But the judge has allowed all sorts in. like all sorts of stuff. Like years after it all occurred, they're allowed to go and pick up trash from an embankment, a part of that allegedly one of the defendants chucked something out, a weapon out into the embankment. They're allowed to bring in all this rubbish into the trial. It has nothing to do with the case. The lead investigator brought in a two-way radio that allegedly she said was used in all this, but as the defense pointed out, the two-way radio that they were found was manufactured after the murders occurred. He was like, it was manufactured 2 years or something after the murders, and the lead investigator tried to put that in as evidence to say that they had this two-way radio on the night of the murders, and they used it, even though didn't even exist. It's just it's just mind-boggling. They also wanted to introduce like a pow pow, one of those, and give it to the jury, even though it had nothing to do. It wasn't even used. It, I can't even explain it, but I'm telling you, there's so much bullshit that judges allow sometimes into trials. I'll get into that in a separate video because we're going on a bit here now. But I wanted to explain about the innocent unless proven guilty. I'm proud of the fact that I believe in innocent unless proven guilty. You don't have to agree with me, but at the same time, I don't believe you can say that one defendant's innocent and then say another defendant's guilty. You can have an opinion, but just remember, until you see the evidence in court, you haven't seen anything. And I think we've learned this on, well, I've certainly learned it, and hopefully others have learned it from following my latest case. A lot of people said the defendants were guilty in the Carragher trial based on what social media and based on what articles had said. And yes, their emotions, their documents, don't get me wrong, but you don't get to see them all. And also, most of the times, you don't understand what the defense are going to do about some of these things or how relevant some of these things are. On its own, these things could really look bad for the defendants, but when you give it context, it might not even look bad at all. So I implore on people, as hard as it is, try and always make sure that you go into a trial with a presumption that the defendant's innocent unless proven guilty. I got my own members who find that concept hard, and I respect these people. And I do understand it. And sometimes you got children involved and stuff like that, so it's very emotive, and it's tough. But I will always stand by that defendant is innocent unless proven guilty, and I'll always stand by that I have my own levels of presumption of of guilt. Um, I can tell you now that genuinely, if I felt the defendant was guilty, I I want to rot in hell. That's why I don't like what happened with Alex Murdaugh. Why are we even discussing Alex Murdaugh's trial for murder anymore? Because the judge allowed financial crimes to come in. The judge allowed it, which means now until another trial happens, people are always gonna question the verdict. Get it right the first time, and you wouldn't have to question it. Again, I would have voted not guilty, not because I don't think he was involved in some way, but because the state didn't prove it. And I'm a staunch believer in. I do not agree that lead detectives, like what happened with Alex Murdaugh, got to lie in for the grand jury. We got lead detective now in Karen Reid lying under oath into the grand jury and stuff. I don't believe in stuff like that. I think there should be punishment for people that do that, but there's not. There's not. They get away with it because there's always loopholes. Oh well, this is what I interpreted it as, and they know what they're doing. I've made videos before about um, police investigators lying and court lying, but no one will ever take them or take it any further. Even in the Carragher trial, Weaver said he had to be careful what he said. Basically, he knows that people have lied under oath on that stand. Lead investigators lied under oath on that stand, but he can't go out and accuse her of that because he knows the shit show that will come from it. But they do it all the time. Shame on them, because no one will ever pick them up on it. I'm going off on a rant now. I don't want to be a rant here. I just want to explain a little bit, as I say, about why I believe it innocent unless proven guilty, and that's why sometimes I get disappointed when hear people pick and choose what trials they believe in. That there are obviously some like the Doberman one that in my opinion is probably going to be slam dunk guilty. You know, he's there with a gun chasing. I can understand it, but just make sure that they have the presumption of innocence. It's important because if it's a fair trial, they then can't appeal. That's important. Their rights should not be violated. That's important because if you aren't guilty, then chuck everything at them. Chuck this, kitchen sink at them. I want that. But I don't want that if it means that they've had an unfair trial and to had a jury pool who've come in and gone, yeah, he's guilty from the start. That's not fair. That's not what this judicial process was built on. So, yeah, so I'm ranting again, but essentially that's it. This is what I'm built on. I will always have that on my channel. I know people. This is why people disagree with me all the time. It was nice to find, obviously with Karen Reid, a similar group of people. But I know that after Karen Reid, I'll be going back to other trials, and people will be the same, bashing me for my belief in innocent and unless proven guilty. It's human nature. It's what people do. It's not like that Kevin, whatever his name is, Cottage, whatever, says that he's picked the unpopular side. No, genuinely, in my experience, most people do have the mindset of guilty unless proven innocent. Now, no one wants to admit that, but I'd question you and say, right, what do you think about BryanKohberger? Or somebody like that. If you think that he's guilty already without any kind of evidence, I'm not talking about what you've seen. Evidence is not evidence until you see it in a court of law, in my opinion. Now we can all we've all looked at documents and stuff like that and timelines, and there's great people, Sleuthy Goosey, obviously Olivia and stuff, do great work out there for documents. I'm not trying to belittle that one bit. It's fantastic and it's very helpful. But ultimately, when it comes to court, we haven't seen everything yet. But I'll cover that in another stream. So yeah, there we are. That's what my channel's about. Innocent unless proven guilty. I challenge you to, maybe think the same and not just about one trial, but try and think the same for all trials. It's really hard. Just cover the Carragher trial. And again, I asked everyone, please come in with a mindset of innocent. Everyone said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I knew that wasn't going to be the case. Because I had a bunch of people who thought they were guilty right from the start. And as soon as the defense rested, first comments in the chat were, "Oh, knew they were guilty." I'm like, even if you think they're guilty, you've got to question it. There's not, I mean, there's no slam dunk evidence, but like some people are trying to allude to saying slam dunk guilty. No, that just means you didn't give the trial the benefit of, you know, presuming they were innocent. You just went straight to guilty and you didn't change your mind. But again, I'm ranting. So, thank you, beautiful people. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will be back with another stream. I'm going to try and do 2 or 3 of these every couple of days or so. Um, but yeah, these come out. I'm doing this on Thursday, probably come out tomorrow. With that, catch you all later. Ta.